Greetings. This is my application to the 21st Century Teaching and Learning Institute. For my project, I decided to use ping pong balls, pipe cleaners, and markers to create simple ball and stick models that I could use to show chemical reactions. I created this infographic to explain the process and used a YouTube video to demonstrate the process of building and using the models. This infographic also outlines my reflection on the process of being a maker in the classroom. I found that I am someone who likes parameters and rules to guide my thinking and actions. I like knowing exactly what is expected of me and how I will be assessed. Given such an open-ended project, I found that it took me several days to come up with a project that would meet the requirements, and even now, I'm not actually sure if I did meet the requirements. I found that I don't like this uncertainty. My first challenge was to decide what to make from the list of materials. I started with some vague idea of creating some sort of interactive cell model. My husband wanted to jump on the project with LEDs, and frankly, I felt like I was in over my head. Upon revising the list, I changed my project to building molecular models with ping pong balls and pipe cleaners. While this was a much lower tech solution to the problem, I felt like it was more within my reach while still addressing the prompt. The next challenge was to figure out how to present my project to you. I currently teach at a one-to-one school where all of the students have access to Apple MacBook Airs for use at school and home. Because of this experience, I feel pretty comfortable with technology. I felt that I needed to push myself outside my normal comfort zone. I used a version of iMovie that I didn't have much experience with, created an infographic, which is something that I've never done, downloaded that infographic to insert into a Prezi, used QuickTime to record the Prezi and add this narration to it, then published the final video to YouTube. Both of these challenges showed me that everyone has their own 100%, and that we as teachers should be comfortable with accepting each student as an individual and challenge each student to try for their own 100%. In order to complete this project, I had to use my technology skills to assemble this presentation, combining a variety of tools together to create the finished project you have in front of you. These are skills that I have developed while working in the one-to-one environment at Rincon Valley Charter School. I had to adopt a growth mindset to successfully complete this project, meaning that I had to try new things and be okay with not getting it right the very first time. I had to be okay with not knowing exactly what I was going to do for this project and learning new things as I went. As a student, I felt a certain degree of uncomfortableness with this assignment. While there were parameters established and expectations were clear, there was a lot of gray area that allowed for a wide range of interpretation of these guidelines. This has shown me that, as a teacher, some, but not all, students require these guidelines in order to be successful. While we don't want to limit their creativity, we certainly don't want students to not know where to start. While some degree of struggle is healthy, that struggle needs to be productive. Another takeaway was that some students will naturally take to a make sort of environment, while others will need more guidance. In the current environment of high-stakes testing, creativity is not taught because it's not on the test. Therefore, many students do not retain the creative habits that they had as young children, and giving these students an open-ended creative project in the make spirit can be frightening to them because there isn't a right answer and there's not one single way to make the right thing to get an A. Some students will naturally flourish in this environment, while others will need a guiding hand to work in a more creative classroom. A related takeaway is that we as teachers have to be okay with letting students develop multiple solutions to a problem, allow students opportunity to evaluate and revise their solutions, and try another approach entirely if they need to. To me, makers represent what we want out of a 21st century learner. These are people who can think creatively and critically, collaborate with others, and communicate their process and results to others. It is clear that the careers of the future will belong to people who can demonstrate these skills with a high degree of confidence, and it is our job as teachers to help students develop these skills. Incorporating the maker movement in traditional classrooms means that we are giving students a chance to develop their thinking skills, work with others, and tell others about their work. Thank you for your consideration.